Hey crew, now just take a second and check out the super bar in the bottom left as we deal with this champion. We nearly get 3/4 of our super and all we did was literally just shoot arrows at him like frickin' Legalis. Then we move on and get the super and use it on the second barrier champion in this opening area, which is just crazy to get it that fast. In a second here you will see me throw 3 or 4 of these godlike spears at the light bearers in the next room, and man is it satisfying to watch everything die to this super. Also, we are 20 power level under in this Master Nightfall and we are solo, so we can't even take advantage of fireteam members like you will be able to when you're running this setup. It is all about getting that super up as fast as possible because it is one of the best supers in the game in terms of damage and ad clear, as you're about to witness, and we get close to half it back in some cases before the super is even over. We also add in a way to loop some neutral gameplay abilities like our grenade to make sure we're getting the best of both worlds, and as you can see it creates a pretty fun playstyle and a bit different than the normal spamming of the abilities that we're used to. If you try this build out, then get ready to throw so many spears because it only gets way better when you're with a fire team members, but even if you are solo in difficult content like I am, it can definitely hang with the best of the other builds. If you're new to the channel and found this video helpful or enjoyable, then make sure to subscribe and become part of the crew here, and thank you so much to all the members of the channel. The extra support is amazing and I can't thank you enough. For those of you that would like to become a member and get a one-stop shop to all my builds like this that you see on screen, then make sure to click the link in the pinned comment, and thank you so much if you choose to do so. Now the first thing we have to talk about with this build is the exotic primary bow, and that is Wishender. You can get this from a questline with the Shattered Throw dungeon, and it's well worth it in my opinion, and I'm sure there are plenty of guides on YouTube on how to get it, but it got a nice buff this season, and here's why this thing is turning into my end game weapon of choice and how it plays into the super build in particular. It got anti-barrier added to it intrinsically, which is amazing, and this is a primary weapon, so infinite ammo as well, but the main thing is they buffed the broadhead perk to hit 3 times against champions. So we're hitting 3 times against the champions, and then on top of that they added a 10% damage buff to the weapon against champions. So now this bow hits hard, and I mean hard. We're talking like 25,000 worth of damage, and you can one-tap any red bar, and we are 20 power level under doing this. We're also one-shotting the anti-barrier shields in here. But even with all those points aside, the main reason I am loving it is because of the super chunks it is giving to us. The way your super works is the more damage you deal, the more super you get back. This is increased on primaries by twice as much as what a special or heavy weapon will give you in terms of super energy back for the damage you deal. But normally you would break this champion's shield with like an auto rifle with anti-barrier or something and then switch to your special or heavy to kill him. But now we have Wishender here that hits like a truck, has unlimited ammo, got its nice buffs, hits 3 times on champions, and is literally giving us double the super energy back for that damage that we're dishing out. That's how we can get half or to 3/4 of our super just by dealing damage to a champion. And also pretty easily I might add, because it's a bow and you can peek shot. And this goes such a long way for a really good super like our Gathering Storm, because as you can see it just clears enemies like crazy and deals with champions very well. Next we're going to add in a way to generate 2 orbs of power from just killing 1 enemy and a nice grenade loop, and then an exotic to add to the cherry on top of this whole thing. Make sure to pay attention to everything so you know why and how it all works together and why I'm running what I'm running. For the Arcstrider super, make sure you're using Gathering Storm. It's the best super on Arcstrider now and one of the best supers in the game for all kinds of content. I'm using Marksman's Dodge because it has a quicker cooldown time and I want to get back to that dodge as fast as possible. Then I'm also using Pulse Grenade because I think it's the most consistent grenade when it comes to not being buffed by any certain exotic. For the aspects, only one of them here that's important, and that's Flow State. Defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. While you're amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly, you are more resilient while dodging, and your reload speed is greatly increased. But we want to be amplified to take advantage of one of the fragments we're going to be using. For the first one, we're going to be using Spark of Resistance, so we get that 25% damage resistance extra on top of everything else. We're using Spark of Shock. Your arc grenades jolt targets. The reason we're using this is because we want to become amplified, and jolting something and killing a jolted target will make us amplified. Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates Ionic Trace. Just this adds to the ability loop of getting that grenade back quicker. And then the important one, which is Spark of Amplitude. Rapidly defeating targets while you are amplified creates an orb of power. So now with Spark of Amplitude we can get an extra orb of power around every 10 seconds. It's on a cooldown timer, it's like 8 to 10 seconds, but it's just going to add to the overall loop of getting that super back as fast as humanly possible. For stats, 100 resilience is great for that damage reduction, high discipline, high mobility, high recovery. So those 4 stats are your main important ones. Don't worry about intellect or strength. Now for your secondary and heavy weapon, use whatever weapons you like with the build. Wishender is really the only one I would suggest because we're getting huge huge chunks of our super back by using Wish Ender and dealing that increased damage. And then on top of that, our exotic of choice is Star Eater Scales, and the perk here is Feast of Light. You gain additional super energy from orbs of power you pick up while your super energy is full. Picking up an orb of power overcharges your super, causing you to gain a burst of healing when cast and a bonus to your super damage. At maximum overcharge, you will also gain an overshield. Now this can stack up to 4 times right now, so if you pick up 4 orbs of power, you'll be doing the max damage you could be doing with your super, which is great. But even when you don't have Feast of Light procced, your super is still very, very strong. But what this does is when we get a kill or a double kill and we pop 2 orbs of power out of an enemy, we're just going to use Star Eaters to pick up those orbs, right, and get that additional super energy, because we're doing everything we can to get our super back as fast as possible. On our helmet, we're using Kinetic Siphon. Rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb of power, so that way our Wish Ender can create an orb of power. It's easy to get rapid final blows because it can one-shot red bars, so just go from one red bar to the next and you'll spawn an orb of power. We're also going with Ashes to Assets on here, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills because we have our pulse grenade. The pulse grenade still is very strong and it's going to jolt and cause that jolting to other enemies, so we're going to get kills with it. And then of course firepower on the helmet as well, so we can get that grenade back faster when we throw the grenade. On our gauntlets, we're going with Bolstering Detonation, grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. That way we can get our class ability back quicker, because we're safer while dodging, and then we're also going to dodge to get grenade energy. We're using Elemental Ordnance. Defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. On the chest piece, we have another firepower mod, so we're stacking this 2 times, and we'll have a third one on eventually. Then also your damage reduction mods here in the middle, your thermoshock plating and concussive dampener. Then on your boots, since we're making so many orbs of power with this build, I'm running Innervation to get extra grenade when we pick those up, and recuperation to get health when we pick them up. There's a couple times in the gameplay that I show that when I do pick them up, I get some nice health chunks, and it does save me. And then on the class item, we have Elemental Charge. So we become Chargeless Light when we pick up our Elemental Well, and then we also have Double Bomber to get that grenade back even quicker. And you can also substitute this out, and you guys can throw on the artifact mod called Thunderous Retort. It grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified. This is a seasonal mod, so it will be gone at the end of the season. In the gameplay you watched, I did not use that, and that's how strong the super is still with the boots. When you have Star Eater Scales going and get Feast of Light times 2, times 3, times 4, that's how much damage you're outputting with that super, and I didn't even have Thunderous Retort on. So if you throw on Thunderous Retort on top of the build, it's going to make the super do even more damage, more ad clear, and be that much better. I just wanted to personally see how it would perform without having it on, and it did not disappoint me. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. There's nothing like throwing so many different arc staffs over and over like that at groups of enemies and just clearing them, especially when there's a champion in there, or like a light bearer and a champion together. Oh, it's so satisfying. So I hope you guys give it a try. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching.